Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our first ambassador briefing of the year. We are going to start with Christina Brooks, who will be giving us some pointers on how to use social media as it relates to advocacy. And then after Christina is done, I will go. So Christina, floor is all yours.
Okay, sorry, my computer froze for just a moment, so I didn't know where we were. Thank you, Ben, and really quickly, I want to say thank you to everyone who has registered and shown up today. It always means a lot to us when we have great turnout, so please encourage your fellow ambassadors to show up on our monthly calls. So today I'll be talking to you about engaging with your lawmakers on social media. For those who have had a social media training with me before, welcome back. For those who are joining for the first time, hello, my name is Christina Brooks. I'm Associate Director of Social Media here at AKF, and hello to all of those who might be watching on the recording. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and queue up my screen really quickly, unless, let's see. Ben, are you able to possibly?
Yeah, let me do share screen. One second.
Hi, Jamie. Okay.
Let me find the presentation mode.
I think if you click right down at the bottom before the Zoom, down on the bottom right.
Right.
Yeah. The little presentation where the book is, and then the.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, and then we should be all set.
There we go. Sorry.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. So today, really quickly, we're going to go through why it's important to engage with your lawmakers on social media today. I'm going to go through the top 5 tips I have for you for better engaging on social, as well as some actions you can take today. And then I will open it up to the larger group for any tips or experiences that have helped you with your digital advocacy. The next slide. All right, so how is engaging with your lawmakers' offices on social media helpful, and why are we asking you to do this? Well, you can go back one. Oh, awesome. Keeping policymakers informed is critical in supporting AKF's fight on kidney disease. We also know that we have a large base of AKF ambassadors nationwide, over 17,000 of you. And on social media, what we've learned is that when a legislative office receives letters or emails, sometimes they can all come in and be recorded as just one submission. But on social media, since they're individualized, it actually turns into a large volume of submissions, and they're more likely to pay attention around a certain issue. And then it's also important to remember through our mission that as an AKF ambassador, we are so thankful for your partnership in helping to make an important difference on Capitol Hill and in your community. So the actions you take help improve kidney care, protect patient access, and increase funding for research. Next slide. All right, so we'll get into the top 5 tips for engaging, or if you are already on social media, how you can further strengthen your relationship and your network with lawmakers and your fellow constituents. My first one is, of course, follow, and not just follow, but making sure that you either subscribe to other channels if they're on YouTube, or if your regional office has a presence on social media, and you do want to turn on notifications, which can sometimes be hidden and it's not something that happens by default, but turning on notifications allows you to stay on top of anything that happens, a quick pop-up or a live chat, things like that, so you'll be the first to know. Some other tips in following your lawmakers is seeing if they have multiple accounts. Some representatives have a campaign account, a personal one, or just one from the official office. And so there may be multiple ones to follow that can have different types of information. So doing some research can help with that. And that's just a quick Google search. But once you do start posting with them, I would say don't forget hashtags, including hashtag advocacy, kidney action, kidney voter, kidney transplant, things like that, that can input your post into a larger conversation. But also scanning those social media accounts of your lawmakers in their offices to see what kinds of posts they're engaging back with. Are they video driven? Are they really striking photos? Is it more of around specific bills? That way you know how to tailor your post to something that will be more likely to capture their attention. One other thing that you can do that is a quick tip is consider noting your constituency, either in your bio or weaving it in as part of your post. So that way you're more recognizable as a representative of that community, and may be more likely to capture the attention of a staffer or the lawmaker themselves. Next slide. All right, so we're going to go into brush up on your storytelling as the number 2 tip. So staying informed with your subscriptions and your notifications turned on will keep you on top of those updates, both on the local and federal scales. But what if your opportunity happens? There's a chance for you to connect directly with a staffer or a lawmaker. You want to be ready so that you have your storytelling skills all ready to go and you don't have to do much prep. We can help you with that at AKF with our storytelling resources, but some things that may be helpful to include as you post about your story is a brief version of your journey, any support that you've received along the way that's made a true impact, any advocate groups that you're a part of, and to make sure that your posts and your story is even that much more personal. We encourage you to add videos, whether that's recorded on your phone or a part of an AKF event here, or photos that are personal to you along your kidney journey. I have a quick graphic over here on the side that we can share as many messages as possible, and the issues that you stand on are incredibly important. However, to turn those messages into influence, it's got to be filtered through the lens of your story and your personal experience. And anyone that's had a training with me knows that I always say how powerful your story is. One other tip is following outlets, local outlets, news reporters, or even authors that are very involved in an issue you care about, can also help kind of appeal to somebody who may want to write about your story. So you'll always be able to tag someone if you see an article that they've covered around kidney disease or kidney advocacy, and engage with them that way and share a little bit more about yourself, and you never know where that connection can lead. All right, the number 3 tip is stay prepped. So this is a bit of a spin-off of number 2, but you more so outside of your story, staying prepared with a few links to op-eds, any emerging research around topics that you care about or specific bills, how they're progressing through their cycle. We can keep you updated on that with state updates. Having just a few of these saved on your computer, on your phone, whatever is easily accessible for you, can be helpful if a reporter reaches out, a staffer reaches out, or if you find there's a virtual event that you can join and share some resources. I would also say practice. Practice is great preparation in between some of those virtual events, like Hill Day that we have here at AKF, or local events and trainings that you have with other advocates. So the way you can practice is just continuing to engage with content that you see that is important to you and that is being shared by your lawmakers and their offices. One very underrated, or a few underrated functions, are the likes and retweet and share buttons. If you use those, even if you don't repost anything, just liking a post will actually share some data to the algorithm to show you more of the posts that you care about. So even if you're not commenting on anything, just clicking that like button is a great way to keep that information fresh on your feed. And then to social networks. So I encourage everyone to continue to be social and reach out about tools that you'd like to learn more about. If you see reports that are coming out on local outlets that you think AKF can amplify or that we should be aware of, please continue to reach out. And then if you see other advocates on social media or influencers that are doing great creative things or really building their audience in a way that is inspiring to you, I encourage you to reach out through a DM or comment and say, love what you're doing. Would love to learn more about how you've done that. And a lot of advocates and influencers are very willing, especially if they're in their growing phases, to share what they've learned. Next slide, please. AKF resources are also, okay, you got it, no problem, Francis. I can send hashtags to use that are great around kidney advocacy. We can share that within the Facebook group and provide some resources for you. Which is a great segue into AKF resources, so thank you for that. AKF resources such as our infographics, our action alerts, our living donor report card, as well as our AKF kidney or advocacy by the states and our state leave behinds are extremely informative. They're engaging, and they're a great resource for you to not only learn more about what's happening in your state, but it's something you can point to if you are ever directly engaging with a lawmaker. We also have Kidney Action Week. I would be remiss if I didn't mention it, coming up this March, as well as March's Kidney Month. So that's a great opportunity to continue to post on social media, share more of your story, and find like-minded people who are already searching the internet trying to learn more about kidney disease. Great. And before I go into the last tip of the day, I would like to share 2 actions that you can take today that can get you a little bit more familiar with engaging directly on social. We have 2 action alerts that we'd like all ambassadors, or as many as possible, to participate in submitting at the start of 2023. Ask your representatives to join the Kidney Caucus and tell Congress I am a kidney voter. And so I have the links here, and I will drop them into the chat once I wrap up this presentation. And if you can, take a moment of your time today to go in and fill it out, add a little bit of your personal story, read a bit more about our legislative priorities for the start of this year. And once you've submitted your action alert, you can go ahead and post it on your social media feeds and encourage others who care about issues like you to take action themselves. It only takes a few minutes, and it really does help to make an impact for some of the bills that we are trying to push forward this year. Last slide will be the number 5, and one of the most important things you can do when engaging and building your engagement skill set on social is to prioritize your community. You guys as ambassadors are so great at what you do. You are kidney experts, and your experience sets you apart from everyone else because it's personal to you, and it making an impact in kidney advocacy means something to you and your loved ones. So why not lean on each other? Not only do you have the AKF Facebook group, but when you are clicking around hashtags and other posts, follow, reach out to other advocates or ambassadors, learn more about what they're doing, and just share your experience to say, I see you, and I would love to be a part of your community or grow the community together. Not only will you be able to expand the awareness around the issues that you care about, but when reaching out, continuing to share, feed to your community, commenting on others' posts, and just exploring to see what else is out there, you're keeping your own personal network informed as the sole source of kidney advocacy in your state, in your city. And what we are doing here on AKF, you are a great messenger to all of the impact work that we're doing as an organization. So I have seen the hashtag request. Francis, thank you again. But I would like to open it up to the larger group to see if there is any digital tips or stories, anecdotes, or experiences that have helped you with digital advocacy. I think we may have some seasoned digital advocates on the call.
Well,
So thank you so much for your time today.
And I just wanted to echo what Christina said, but also reference something Eric put here in the chat. We have to start from scratch with all of our education and taking actions. So if you filled out the action alert last year, we need you to fill them out again, because if legislation doesn't pass, then it just ends. So people need to do it again. But the two action alerts we have, one is for asking your members to join the Kidney Caucus. And I was talking with Eric Dolby at the beginning of this chat, and he has a new member who is not a member of the Kidney Caucus yet, but we saw she is a member of the Diabetes Caucus. And while, like I said earlier, somebody joining the Kidney Caucus doesn't mean they will just immediately become an absolute champion for kidney disease legislation. It gives us a chance to put some information before them and give them a chance to learn more about kidney disease. And especially with all the new members, it's even more important to educate your members. And then the other one is saying that you're a kidney voter. And that's just another chance to let your members know that kidney disease issues are important to you as one of their constituents. So, like I said earlier, if anyone has filled them out before, please do so again. I don't know if anyone has any questions for Christina. If not,
yeah, any questions, or I pose this question to the larger group, any tips that you can provide to the advocates on the call, or any personal experiences that you can share?
I have a quick question. This is Teresa Cauldron. So when you talked about using videos on earlier about like your personal videos or, anything like that for along with your story, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So when I got my transplant, it was right during the start of the pandemic, right after they had pretty much shut everything down. And so one of the news stations here interviewed me after that. It's like a 2-minute long video. Is that something that, and she gave a lot of information about kidney disease and transplants and stuff on there. Is that something you mean by sharing, or is that something not a good thing to share?
Oh, that's a great thing to share, especially if you were a part of it. Just especially your story about being affected at the pandemic is really important. So absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. And if you ever need any resources or just guidance on the best way to present that video, you can reach out in the group or to Ben or myself, and we can help coach you through that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Teresa.
Hi, this is Stephanie. Excuse me. One thing I didn't notice in your list of ways to connect in social media was through email. I'm on my Congress and Senate peoples. I receive emails from them. For instance, this Sunday, Hakeem Jeffries is having an inauguration here in Brooklyn, and I am going to that. So hopefully I'll get to speak with him personally.
I love that. Well, sometimes, and that is a very good point. Sometimes, if you do receive emails and are on a dedicated email list, which is very important for events, just like you mentioned, Stephanie, there may be an opportunity to share that with your, share it on social media. Sometimes there are links that are included within the email. Or if it is an open registration and you think it's something other people might be interested in joining, that is absolutely one thing you may want to copy and paste and share on a post, or reach out to a representative on the email or on that organization side to see if they have any shareable social resources. Any other questions?
If anybody has any questions that come up in the future, you can always contact us and let us know, and we'd be glad to connect you.
Will you be sharing these links online on the Facebook group? I'm driving, so I'm not able to get that.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll make sure you get everything, Tamara.
Great, thank you.
All right, so then I will thank Christina for taking time today to meet with us once again. There's no better way to start off the year than have Christina be the guest for the ambassador briefing, which means every other one this year is just going to be much worse. So I'm glad you were able to join us for the best one of 2023. But so now I will transition over to our Kidney Action Week discussion. This year, Kidney Action Week is going to be in person. I know we've been saying that for many years now when it has not been the case, but fingers crossed, we can finally pull it off. It's going to be May 17th. That is when we will be on Capitol Hill. The training day, which will be at the Crown Plaza in Arlington, Virginia, that will be May 16th. And so people will, if you're selected, you will be brought in on May 15th. So you have 2 full days of education, networking, and meetings. And let me share one thing here. The way folks are selected is number 1 is we look for folks who their members are in leadership. As you can see on the screen now, these are all the folks who we are looking for with people in leadership. Stephanie, we already know you're in Hakeem Jeffries district, so we'll just count on your application. But given the change in leadership in the House, that is why Nancy Pelosi is no longer on this list. But the new leadership for the Democrats are, which includes Catherine Clark and Pete Aguiar. And I said earlier, Hakeem Jeffries, but we know we have somebody in his district. And also, it's important for folks to check and see who your members are. We can check as well if you need help. But because of redistricting, which happens every 10 years, new lines are drawn. So Lori Noyes, who is from California, who a lot of you know, she was in Pete Aguiar's district before, which was District 31. But in redistricting, California lost a district. So Pete Aguiar changed from District 31 to 33, but his lines, district lines also changed. So he is no longer Lori Noyes' member of Congress. So the list of folks here, they are either in leadership for their party, they are the chairs of the committees that we work most closely with, or they are the chair of subcommittees. And we, sorry for the flash in there, don't know what's causing that. We have everyone's, well, I think the email will go out today or tomorrow, sending out the link for everyone to apply. We posted it early in the Ambassador Facebook group, which is just another plug for folks to please join our Facebook group, because that is where we'll always put everything first. But the application will go out, and then folks will have a month to submit their applications. That is, I think, closing day is February 27th. So it doesn't, while it'd be great if folks applied on the earlier side, like everything else, we tend to see most of the applications come in right at the very end. And if you're not interested in attending, or you don't think you'll be able to attend, I kindly ask for you to still apply, because it's very important for us to have updated stories for everybody. And we get all the applications downloaded into a spreadsheet. And I use that spreadsheet throughout the year to reach out to folks, whether they're selected for the Kidney Action Summit or not, for different advocacy opportunities throughout the year. And it's always important for us to have the updated stories, because your modality of dialysis might have changed. You might have got a transplant and we didn't know. You might have moved, which does happen from time to time. And I'll reach out to folks to do a meeting in their district and find out they're in a completely different state. So it's very important to have folks fill out the application. We have about 20 spots for folks that we can take, which is not nearly enough, but that is the amount that our budget provides. And as always, we take a mixture of new folks who are completely new to AKF, and folks who might have attended maybe one Kidney Action Summit before, and we'll take some folks who have been to a lot of the Kidney Action Summits before, because we not only want you to learn from us, we want you to all learn from each other. And having a big group of ambassadors with different levels of experience and different kidney stories makes a difference. And so the biggest decider, like I said earlier, is if folks have members from leadership. But unfortunately, aside from Stephanie Dixon here, I don't believe anyone is in a district of any of the folks I mentioned from before. But we are excited to see all the applications. This is like my favorite time of the year, because we do get so many great people that get involved with us. And some folks, they sort of, I don't know, take a break from advocacy for sometimes. Yeah, and as Eric says here, it's not the only deciding factor. There's lots of other deciding factors. We also make sure that we have folks who have different kidney stories. So not everyone will be on dialysis. Not everybody will have a transplant. Not everybody will be a caregiver. But we try to just get a mix of everything, which makes it very difficult, because every year there's tons and tons of really great applications, and we would love to accept everyone, but space limitations are there. But yeah, the applications really do serve a purpose for, like I said, throughout the year, and it does provide a way for folks to just get reinvigorated and re-involved with AKF. So I ask for everyone to apply, even if you're not interested in attending. So I'll stop talking for now and see if anybody has any questions about the application. If you have any questions about the meetings themselves, any questions about coming into town for the Kidney Action Summit, I am all ears. And I'll also add that because there are so many new members this year, just from turnover, retirements, all that, I'm also going to be using the application list to reach out for folks to do in-district virtual meetings. And for those, we will do it with your House member and your senators as well. For the Senate meetings, we might try to get a few ambassadors in for that meeting as well. But it's very important to not only do advocacy with the folks at Capitol Hill, but to do it with their district staffers as well.
Ben, sorry, I must have missed something, but National Kidney Month is in March. Is there anything going on that month for it?
Well, so we have our Kidney Action Week in March. And so that is when we will have a lot of education that our wonderful education department is going to be putting on. And there will be some digital advocacy opportunities. But we just decided this year to do the Kidney Action Summit in May. And we're interested in seeing how it goes, because we think having a little bit of distance from National Kidney Month might actually be a benefit to the kidney community. Because lots of times we do meetings in March, and they might have a meeting the next day with another kidney group, or they had a meeting the day before with a different kidney group. So we're giving it a shot to see how spacing it out and doing it in a totally different month works out. And then hopefully it won't be as cold in May as it can be in March sometimes.
Thank goodness.
And so I will say, another reason I'm sort of waiting on doing in-district meetings, usually sort of hit the ground running once that ball drops on New Year's, is with so many new members, they most likely do not have full district staff fully staffed up yet. Some will. They've had about a month now in the new Congress, and what happens a lot of times is, if it is somebody from the same party, like if a Republican retires, then a Republican takes over for them. A lot of times they keep the district staff, because to be a district staffer, it's sort of a, not to quote Liam Neeson here, but it's a specific set of skills that you can't just find immediately, and it makes the district operations run a lot smoother that way. Tunisia had a question about what is the schedule like for the Kidney Action Summit. So on May 15th is when folks will fly in, or drive in, maybe. May 16th is when we will have sort of a full day of education and training at the hotel in Arlington. And we choose that hotel, the Crown Plaza, same as always, because it's really close to National Airport, just to make it easier for ambassadors to come in. And then there will also be some networking opportunities.
Let's just hope this time there's not a marathon, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
But we had the hard time to take off from there.
Yeah. We checked, and there was no citywide things, but who's to say something else isn't going to pop up 6 months from now?
They closed the streets like 2 blocks radius or something like that, and I was waiting for an Uber, and it was really, Kyle and I took the train. it was kind of weird, but yeah, it was not expected.
Yeah, not the easiest thing in the world. And then actually that night we are going to have a little bus take folks around so they can see all the monuments and stuff, because
oh, nice.
As we learned several years ago, a lot of the folks who come in for the Kidney Action Summit have never been to Washington, D.C. before, and they really want to see the monuments and things. And we want to be very cognizant of that folks are volunteering their time for us, and are doing us a favor by coming in. So we would like to return the favor a little bit by adding a little bit of tourism and just fun to the Kidney Action Summit. And so,
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying, I think it's important for everyone here and in the wider audience to understand it. That's my birthday week. That's my birthday is in the middle of that.
That works.
So just so everyone knows.
We'll make sure there's a cake waiting for you, Crystal.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then on May 17th, that is when we will have the meetings on Capitol Hill. And so for everyone that we're bringing in, we will request the one House meeting with your one representative and then senators. If you have multiple folks from your state, then you will have probably have multiple people in those meetings with you. One thing that a lot of senators do, especially on Wednesdays, because that's middle of the week and usually they're in session then, we call them Senator Jellos. That is because Mike Lee, the senator from Utah, he has, and Jello is the state snack of Utah. So every Wednesday morning, when Congress is in session, he has a meeting room where constituents can just come in. Sometimes you have to register in advance, but usually you can just come in, speak with staff, and speak with the senator or sometimes members of Congress. And in the past, senators from Georgia, they had sort of a full breakfast available for folks. And the reason senators do this is lots and lots of school groups come in. And these school groups, if you're bringing 50 middle schoolers or high schoolers from Georgia, you want to make sure that they have a chance to meet their elected officials. And the elected officials want to make sure that people are coming all the way up there to meet them, that they have time to meet them. So a lot of senators have specific time slots where everyone knows that they will be available. And then we call them Senator Jellos because each person or each senator, sometimes the food they provide is specific to the state. So Senator Angus Young from Angus King, sorry, Angus Young is from ACDC. Senator Angus King from Maine, he provides blueberry bread because blueberry is an abundant fruit in Maine. But while that it makes it super easy for you all to meet with them, it sort of makes it a little anticlimactic for ambassadors, just being totally honest up front, because you have those two meetings. They might be like 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then you have one more meeting the rest of the day. So it leaves you with a lot of open time that day. And unfortunately, we do not put ambassadors in meetings with, that's not for their representative or their senators. Offices really don't want that because they want to just make sure they're meeting with their elected officials. So double-edged sword. It's much easier to meet with the members themselves, but frees up your schedule much faster. But yeah, so we will try to get everyone in to meet with as many folks as possible on May 17th. And then a lot of folks will fly out that night. If that is not a reasonable flight for some folks, especially people coming in from California, then you will fly out the next morning. Any other questions people have? I see some new names here in the attendee list. I'm not going to call anybody out, but for the newer folks, please feel free to ask any questions you might have. I will say, since we are doing flying again in person, we're going to try and do in district meetings in person again. And so that will be more the ambassador trips, which is for the newer folks, that's me and my silver minivan, driving usually about a 4-hour driving radius from AKF's Silver Spring, Maryland office, which is my house, to meet with ambassadors. And it'd be great to be able to meet with district staff as well. So I'm excited to get back into doing those meetings. For folks who are selected and for folks who unfortunately are not selected, we're going to be looking to doing as many of these meetings in person as we can, but also doing them virtually as well. Because as of now, most offices, regardless of party, really don't want to do in-person meetings. One, for obviously safety, because with COVID numbers spiking back up, the offices are not that eager to just have a rotating group of people just coming in. But unofficially, I think doing so many virtual meetings has shown how easy it is for these offices to conduct their meetings. And we don't know what the future holds for meetings, but personally, I don't see any way that it's not at least hybrid and they do some meetings virtually, because it makes it that much easier. And especially with folks who, if the district is very big or the state is very big and it's not easy for people to get to a district office, doing it virtually really just makes a lot of sense. So we're waiting to see how that goes. And so far, to be honest, I don't know if every office on Capitol Hill is open for meetings or not, but we expect by May they will be. But if not, then we'll do them virtually. And so Rodney asked, how does transportation work once in DC? There is a shuttle from the airport to the hotel, and then we will be providing transportation from the hotel to Capitol Hill. And then folks, once they're done with their meetings, because people are going to be done at various times throughout the day, once they're done with meetings, they will take taxis back to the hotel. And then you can either just hang out with other ambassadors, or some people will just grab their things and then catch another cab to go to the airport and fly back. But we will cover all transportation costs as well. And I'm not sure of the Washington Nationals schedule, but it's possible ambassadors might be able to see the worst team in baseball this year while they're in town as well. Hey, still my team, but the worst team. Any other questions? So I will say one thing we do try to do, if budget allows, is if we have somebody from the same congressional district, we do see if there were any other applicants from that same district as well. And then we try to bring in that other people as well, because that's not extra meetings that we're requesting. If we request one meeting for Illinois' 8th congressional district, and we have 2 ambassadors or 3 ambassadors or 4 ambassadors, it's still the same amount of meetings. And we are capped on the number of meetings we can request. But if we're able to bring in some extra folks, then that works. And that also helps for local ambassadors, because we always seem to do well in Northern Virginia and Montgomery County, Prince George's County. So if we're bringing in, or folks are just driving in from their houses to the districts, then makes it much easier for us to bring them back. And even easier for Crystal, who will be celebrating her birthday. Her house is on my way home to my house. So last time I just dropped Crystal off. So she knows she has a guaranteed ride for me. I cannot promise it's an enjoyable ride, because then I can talk endlessly and you can't really mute me when I'm the driver. So buyer beware. But if you happen to be on my drive home, I am more than happy to stick you in the Vambassador and drive you back home. Any other questions? I will say everyone has a fair shot at being selected. And like I said earlier, it doesn't matter when you submit your application, but it's always better to get it in sooner. And we will not be doing any of the real selecting and going through the applications until all the applications are in. So just to make it fair to folks. So it's not like if we get a bunch of applications the first 2 weeks, then it's just done. We're giving everyone a fair shot. But like I said, the sooner you get those applications in, the better, because then we have your story, we have your updated contact information, everything, and then we can get started on doing those in-district meetings. And whether you are selected for flying or not, we would like to do in-district meetings with as many folks who are willing to do them with us.
One thing to be mindful of, Ben,
Yep.
as an in-center patient, we have to schedule going
Yeah,
towards this.
that's a very good thing. So for folks who have not attended in the past, or folks who have, if you are an in-center patient, we will obviously work around your schedule to make it possible for you to attend. We have had some people who have missed some of it, so they could do their normal dialysis schedule. And some people, they've come in and we've found them dialysis clinics in the DC area that they are able to go to. So they can still maintain doing dialysis at the schedule that they like. And obviously, we are a kidney-based organization, so we will do whatever we can. And someone's dialysis status obviously will not deter us from selecting them. But we will obviously work with all the folks selected to make sure that they can attend. Any other questions? I will say last year we did give out the AKF lightsabers for May the 4th. I do not know what we will be giving out this year. I get the catalog from this company all the time, so I'm still trying to come up with something cool. So we will see what we will be giving out. But I am always open to suggestions. So if there's something that you all think would be especially useful, please let me know, because even though an AKF lightsaber may not technically be especially useful, we do try to give everyone meaningful gifts and items from us. And so that's why, in the past we gave the insulated cooler bag, and so that was so folks could take any food or medicine with them to their dialysis treatments. And there's been different things that we've given out over the years that, quite honestly, a lot of it has come from requests from ambassadors or recommendations from ambassadors as to what would be best for them. So you don't have to let me know now, but if you have any ideas that you come across in the future, definitely feel free to let me know. Teresa said, blankets, mine is fought over in this house. I will say I did warn everybody before the blankets were sent out, because as soon as I got that actually in a sample from the marketing company that I work with, and as soon as I got it, I was like, oh, this is the softest blanket ever. I'm definitely going to order this for ambassadors. And then I very quickly lost that sample to my eldest daughter. So I did let folks know it's a great blanket, but chances are you will not be able to keep it. So I know most people have lost them to spouses or pets. So I will see about any replacement blankets, but yeah, hopefully I can continue giving such great things that they get stolen from all of you. I will say, just personally, we are excited about just being back on Capitol Hill. Stephanie, I apologize for that oversight. I will correct that shortly. you know, even though, to be quite honest, we've done exceptionally well with all the virtual meetings over the year, but there's nothing like being on Capitol Hill to have those meetings, and just the excitement of being there and meeting with the legislators, just being sort of in the thick of it. So we're excited to get back into doing that. And we did order some new T-shirts in the past few months. So all ambassadors who attend will be getting new T-shirts. And if whatever we're giving you is exceptionally large, I will let everyone know to bring extra luggage to ship everything back. Because I know some people do like to travel very light and just bring everything like in one little carry-on bag. That's not my preferred way of travel, but we will let folks know if they need some extra space. Any other questions? If not, then I will thank everyone for attending. I will stop the recording now, and then we can have our question and answer time. So thank you, everybody.